Hi everyone, it's Angie. I hope you guys are all doing okay. I'm doing great. Happy Saturday to everybody. I just went out in the living room real quick. It is snowing. So it is a cold, blustery Saturday. When I looked at the thermostat or thermometer on my phone when I came back into my craft room, it is 26 degrees. So for 26 degrees and snowing, and I don't have my sweater on today. So burr, 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 burr. It's going to be a crazy, crazy time. I hope that we don't get too much snow because tomorrow we're going to be traveling, as I'm sure a lot of you might be, for the Super Bowl, the Superb Owl. That's kind of a funny story. So I'm not a sports fan, just not a sports fan. But my family is, like my extended family. And so my sister has a Super Bowl party every year, and I rarely get invited to the family's football events because I tend to chitter chat and not watch. So, but I'm invited, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I threatened last year that instead of coming to their Super Bowl party, that I was going to host my own party, and it was going to be the Superb Owl Party. So I am going to, me and Maddie tomorrow are going to go over to my sister's for a little while just so we can scam off their food. I'm kidding. We're going to go over there for a little while, but then we're going to come back to my house and we're going to have a Superb Owl Party. So, anybody else? Who else is watching the Super Bowl? I'm sure most people are going to be watching the Super Bowl, if not for the game itself, then at least for the commercials and the halftime show. And, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't even know who is performing in the halftime show this year. So, that shows you how on the ball I am. And I don't even know who's playing. Is it the Chiefs and the Patriots? Am I right? I don't even know. We'll see. We'll find out tomorrow, huh? So I'm sure it's the Chiefs because that's my nephew's favorite team. He always roots for the Chiefs. And I think the Patriots are the other one. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a football fan, not a sports fan of any kind. I mean, I suppose I like football more than I like basketball. Um, and it's not that I don't care for the sport of basketball itself. I mean, like, I always liked playing basketball. Not that I was ever good at it or anything, but I like playing basketball, and I wouldn't mind watching basketball if it weren't for the squeaky sneakers. I cannot stand the sound of the squeaky sneakers on the wood floors. I make Jeff turn down his television in the back room when he's watching basketball because I can't stand the sneaky squeaks. Hey Sherry, how's it going? Yeah, can't and Dawn, hi Dawn. Can't stand the squeaky sneaks. So a few things to talk to you guys about tonight. Number one, we got the Superb Owl Party. I'm going to talk to you about my Superb Owl Party. And number two, we're going to talk about some more word or phrase origins. So I did some more digging and I found some more origins of some phrases. Some of them are pretty interesting. Some of them are boring as hell, but some of them are pretty interesting. So I'll just tell you real quick. I've been sitting here working, but I'll tell you what I'm working on tonight. And I'll show it to you because I'm working on it upside down. So it might look a little funny, but I'm continuing to work on the Spectrum Express from Dreamer Designs. I've got quite a bit of it complete. Let me tear this back so you can see. But I've got this whole half done, top to bottom. I love the way that sunshine looks, that refracted sun. I think that looks excellent. And this side on the bottom, so we've got the train tracks and the steamer. And I'm working up at the top where his smokestack is. Right now is where I'm working. But in order to reach it, I'm working upside down. Just a quick poll. Who works upside down and sideways? Or do you guys just flop your canvas around? I like to work upside down and sideways. Gives me a little bit of a challenge on top of that. Michelle's here. Hi, Michelle. I'm going to take a second to say hi to all my friends. I said hi to Sherry and Dawn. Hello, hello. Diamond Heart's here. Hi. Yeah, you didn't even know the Super Bowl was set for tomorrow? Yeah, see, exactly. Exactly. You know, when I was in high school, there was a group of girls that did not find sports interesting, but it was cool at the time in the, I don't know, early 90s to pretend that you were a girl that was interested in sports. I was never one of those girls. I never even pretended I was interested. I couldn't pull it off. Couldn't even pretend. Michelle, I said hi to Michelle, Diamond Heart, and Anita. Hi, Anita, and Judy. Hello, Judy. And Deborah. Hi, Deborah. How are you? Oh, Dawn, you changed your name to Dawn McCreary Creates. She changed it. It just used to be Dawn McCreary. Now she's special. She's got Dawn McCreary Creates. I love it. That's awesome. I'm sorry about the little bit of a glare over here from my working light. When we remodel this craft room, it's going to get some different lighting. So I won't have as many, so I won't have as much glare. Jody actually helped me pick out the proper lighting because I wanted something for an overhead light. I want it to be bright, like bright, bright, bright. And I don't want it to be like a single solitary fixture. I want it to be kind of dispersed around the room. So I'm going to get like the best I can. It's like a panel, like an LED panel. It's 2 foot by 4 foot. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to get to go in here. And it's kind of cool, the one I picked out, because it's dimmable, obviously, but it's also, you can change between the modes of light. So you can have like yellow light or blue light or, you know, whatever. So I think that'll be kind of nice, especially for filming. It'll give me some more options because, you know, like those ring lights that they have for filming, those have, you know, the different options for the different color light that you want, if you want cool or warm or whatever. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that there's reasons for all of them, like to make you look better and your face look better or your project look better. Or I want one that makes me look 10 years younger personally, but I don't think that they offer that option. I didn't put any makeup or anything on tonight. In fact, I didn't even get dressed. Okay, I got a survey question for everybody. When you wear your pajamas, which my pajamas consist of just comfy pants and t-shirts, which is pretty much what I wear 90% of the time. Who all wears matched pajamas? Who wears matched pajama sets, like matched tops and bottoms? Just out of curiosity. Who wears matched PJs? I love the idea of matched PJs and I think they look super cute, but I'm wondering if this is like a generational thing, because both my mom and my mother-in-law have, on multiple occasions when I've had to have like a surgery or something, have gotten me pajama sets. And they're like my special pajama sets that I only wear like for those special surgery occasions. Which seems really weird to have to be able to say that, but you know, it is what it is. Never. Anita says never. Dawn, you wear matching sets. I can see that about you, Dawn. I can see that. Yeah, that Dawn wears matching PJ sets. I would love to be able to, but I don't think that I could be well, because I don't do my own laundry. Jeff does the laundry and he folds it and puts it away. And the way he puts it away is not all that organized. So I think that if I ever do want to wear one of my match sets, it takes me a little bit of time to find the matching pieces. Ooh, I know. What about nightgowns? Does anybody wear nightgowns? Oh, Anita, you wear shorts and t-shirts. See, Anita, I can't, even in the summertime, I have a hard time wearing shorts to bed because I don't like it when my knee skin touches. I know that's a weird thing, but we've all got our weirdnesses, and that's my weirdness. I don't like my knee skin to touch, especially in the summer when it's hot. You know, get sweaty. Don't want my knee skin touching. So that's why I don't do shorts to bed. I'll wear shorts all day long, but then I'll put long pants on to go to bed. Either that, or if I do, like, let's say I take a nap, because, you know, I have been known to take a nap or two in my life, I'll stick the blanket between my knees so that my knee skin doesn't touch. Simply Complicated's here. Hi, how are you? Oh, Sherry says, no way. Pajamas are very popular in high school, Diamond Heart? I did not know. When I was younger, I wanted to match, but now I'm like, who the hell cares? Exactly. Who's going to see me? Yeah, who's seen me? Today I'm wearing my favorite t-shirt. I love this t-shirt. It says Michigan. It has like a sunshine on it, but it's the way it's cut and the material it's made from. It's like my favorite t-shirt of all time, but it's kind of like a good going out t-shirt, and I tend to wear it around the house, and I need to stop doing that. Oh, Michelle, you wear nightgowns. Deborah wears nightgowns. Awesome. And Dawn, you wear nightgowns too. I would love a good nightgown. I'm going to try to get one. You know, I think the reason I don't wear nightgowns is I have bad memories of nightgowns as a kid. Because my mom, you know, as a kid growing up in the, 70s and 80s, nightgowns were what girls wore. That's just what girls wore to bed. So my mom always had nightgowns for us while we live in Michigan. So in the wintertime, we always had flannel nightgowns. And my mom would get us, or I don't know if my grandma's got them for us or what, but we had these cutesy putesy little flannel nightgowns that had lace trim. So it had, lace around here, but then it also had like lace around the neck. And I can remember those flannel nightgowns being so flippin' itchy. And there's nothing worse than being itchy when you're trying to sleep. You know what I mean? And it's just scratchy. It was horrible. So I've always steered away from nightgowns because of childhood trauma. The childhood trauma induced by the scratchy flannel nightgowns. But I think now as an adult, a good cotton nightgown would probably be, comfy. And probably they make nightgowns a lot more comfortable. Even a flannel one is probably a lot more comfortable now than it was 40 years ago, 45 years ago. So many high schoolers are in PJs? That's crazy, Diamond Heart. Oh my goodness. That's weird. Oh, you don't like it when your knee skin... Oh, I can see. Yeah, it gets hot if you're sleeping with animals. Hey, V, how's it going? Vanessa's here. So anyway, so I've got a couple of things. The other thing I want to talk to you about is... So we've got our schedule of things to do tonight. I've got a schedule. Is we're going to talk about our meanings of phrases, and then I'm also super excited to share with you. I'm going to be doing my first crochet tutorial. I made up a pattern. Don't worry, it's not like all that complicated or anything. And I am going to do a tutorial for it. And I'm really excited about it because I absolutely love the way it's turning out. I just want to get a little bit more done on my sample piece before I take it to film the tutorial. And I gotta say, I've got mad props for people like Crystal Bag A Day Crochet, who comes out with tutorials like super often, because that's a lot. I mean, to not only come up with the pattern, but then to, go through all of the math of, putting the pattern together. Who even more so than, because a lot of times Crystal makes her stuff on the fly, especially like hats and that. But the person, like, I have the utmost respect for is, I don't know if anybody watches Simona Crochets on YouTube. She does primarily wearable patterns for children and babies and children. That being said, yes, I realize that it doesn't take as long to make a wearable for a baby or a child as it does for an adult. But even at that, she is so well prepared when she comes on to do her videos. She has all the stitch multiples for all the sizes. She has all of the counts for all the sizes, all the measurements for all the sizes. And she always has an example already crocheted up for every size that she shows. It's incredible. And she puts out tutorials quite regularly. I just don't know how she has the time to do all that. I really, really don't, because it's some work. So what do you guys want to do first? Do you guys want me to show you what I'm gonna do the crochet tutorial on, or do you want to do our origins of phrases first? We'll put it to a vote. We're gonna be very democratic tonight. Very democratic, very democratic. My legs have never stick together in a nightgown. I can't stand PJs. Phrases. Okay, Diamond Heart, we'll do phrases first. Okay. Phrases 410, Alex. Okay, the first one that I want to talk about is an oldie but a good. Now, this is an old one. I don't know how many people even use this phrase anymore. Hurts like the Dickens, like, or cold as the Dickens, or something of the Dickens. I always assumed that it was in reference in some way to Charles Dickens, you know, because it's an old phrase. I was way wrong. That phrase has been in use since the 1500s. And although like the origins may have arisen from a surname Dickens, it did not come from Charles Dickens, obviously, because he wasn't around in the 1500s. But, you know, obviously it means it's a substitute for profanity, and the Dickens meant like the devil. That was like a substitute profanity word for devil, which I always thought that, or I thought that was interesting. That you would say Dickens instead, or that Dickens is instead of devil. I don't know why you couldn't just say hurts like the devil. It's not like devil's a bad word. Maybe in the 1500s, devil was, you didn't want to say devil. I don't know. I didn't get that. The farthest explanation I got was that it was probably after a surname Dickens, but nobody really knew what Dickens, you know, the exact Dickens person that it came from. This one is a little bit obscure, but I was interested in this because my girlfriend and I were talking about hockey. Her son, I have a friend whose both sons have played hockey pretty much since they walked out of the womb or skated out of the womb. Her oldest son now is an announcer in North Carolina for a hockey team. He's 30 now, so he's not playing anymore. But her youngest son, I don't know if Kyle's still playing or not, but they played. I mean, they were both very, very good hockey players. One played in the league below the NHL, and the other one played, you know, all of his life in travel leagues and whatnot, semi-professional leagues. So I always wondered about the saying a hat trick. You guys have heard that, right? Of a hat trick. A hat trick is when you score 3 goals in a row. It's called a hat trick. And I was wondering, where did they come up with the term hat trick? Now, this is kind of a long and boring story. I was a little bit disappointed when I read about the origins of hat trick. So hat trick originates from cricket. All right. So, without any working knowledge of the game of cricket, which some of you might have knowledge of how the game of cricket is played, I personally do not. I guess in cricket, a hat trick is called when a bowler. Okay, I gotta read this. A bowler has dismissed three batsmen in a row. Okay, so a bowl by I so with cricket is a lot like baseball, I think. So uh bowler I would think would be the pitcher. And if he dismisses three batsmen, that would be strikes out three batters, I'm thinking. So that's what it says that if they can the definition is a hat trick is when you take 6 wickets in 7 balls. That means nothing to me, absolutely nothing to me, because I don't know what a wicket is. Um, but if a bowler pitcher strikes out 3 batsmen in a row, what they would do, and this is in the 1800s, they would pass around a hat and everybody would throw coins in the hat, and then they would give that money to the bowler, to the pitcher, because he did a good job. So that is why it was called a hat trick, because they took 6 wickets in 7 balls, which means they dismissed 3 batsmen in a row to get, I don't know. You got to understand the rules of cricket, I guess. So, and I don't understand the rules of cricket or the game of cricket, or anything about cricket except that they use like a flat bat, which seems to me infinitely easier than a round bat. I'm just saying. Vanessa, you played cricket? Oh, that's exciting. So do you know what a bowler and what batsmen are? That's all I know. Okay, now this one, we're not going to tell you where this one why I was thinking about this one, because I'm sure you can guess once I tell you the term. Hair of the dog. Hair of the dog that bit ya is the full phrase. And obviously, the term hair of the dog that bit you refers to having some alcohol the next morning when you're hungover to try to get rid of the hangover, which seems, not very intuitive, to drink alcohol to get rid of the effects of feeling sick from drinking alcohol. But apparently, there is some scientific basis behind the idea of having a small amount of alcohol if you have a hangover. And the science behind that is that what you're feeling when you feel a hangover is actually the effects of alcohol withdrawal, is what makes you feel sick. So basically, if you were to keep drinking, you'd never have a hangover and you'd feel drunk forever. But when you quit drinking, it throws you into an alcohol withdrawal, which is what makes you feel sick, hungover, headache, nausea, all of that fun stuff that goes along with a hangover. So, hair of the dog is good at reasonable advice, I guess. Maybe the better advice would be don't drink so much that you get sick. I don't know. But who am I to say? No, I'm not. No, this is a judge-free zone here. If you want to live it up, go ahead. Heaven knows I've done it on more than one occasion, although not lately. Not lately. My birthday, we went out and you would think I would have had a hangover, but I didn't. Because we went out for my birthday and I had 3 beers and 2 picklebacks, which are whiskey shots with pickle juice backs. And I did not have a hangover, which to me is incredible because I don't drink very often. Anyway, so the term hair of the dog, here's where it comes from. In medieval times, which anything that starts with that saying in medieval times, you're about to get into something wacky, because they did wacky shit back then. I would love to know what was the average lifespan during medieval times, and I meant to look that up, but I forgot. Can somebody look that up for me and tell me what was the average lifespan during medieval times, and let me know, because that's going to make a lot more sense for our story when I talk to you about the hair of the dog. So apparently, what they used to do in medieval times was, if you were to be bitten by a rabid dog, the remedy for being bitten by a rabid dog was to find that dog and take some of its hair and put the hair on the infected wound, and that would cure you. Seriously? Like, really? First of all, there's a couple of problems with this. Number one, if the dog has rabies, it's probably filthy and probably has filthy hair, and it's probably not something you want to put on an infected wound. Number two, and probably more importantly, this dog already bit you once, okay? This dog already bit you at least once to give you rabies. You've already been bitten by this rabid dog. This dog is not happy, right? This dog is sick. This dog is mad with rabies. You're going to go chase down this rabid dog that already bit you once and pull out some of its hair? What do you think's going to happen the next time? That's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. But people actually did this. In medieval times, they actually did this, and they thought that it was going to cure their infected wound. Furthermore, they waited until the wound became infected before they went and got the hair from this rabid dog. I mean, which brought me to the question of, how old did people live to be in the medieval times? So let's see. Gail says average life expectancy was 25 to 35 years. So hi, Chocolate Diamonds. How are you? So let's just say it was on the high end, 35 years. That's fucking why. Excuse my language. Hello, they're out there pulling hair off rabid dogs. It's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But it's very, very interesting to me that they did that. I mean, there were just very interesting to me. Some of the medical advice that was given, and medical things that were done to people, like bloodletting and leeches. Well, leeches, they've kind of shown aren't they back on leeches right now? But anyway, bloodletting and all that weird stuff that they used to do. Which brings me to my next one. I kind of ran across this when I was reading about the hair of the dog. Another kind of, maybe not medieval, but definitely old. Like, yeah, this was Middle Ages, and so definitely in Middle Ages. This is an old saying that most people don't use anymore, but you've probably heard it. If somebody is called lily-livered, has anybody heard that saying? Calling somebody lily-livered. Well, the reason that you were in the meaning of that is to be a coward. Is that you're cowardly if you're called lily-livered. Because during the Middle Ages, your liver was considered to be the place in your body that controlled your emotions and created your blood. Okay. And the poor function of your liver caused mental and physical defects. So in lily, in the Middle Ages, referred to something white, like a white lily, like a pureness, or paleness. So basically, if they called you lily-livered, they were calling you that you have a white liver and your liver, or a pale liver, so your liver wasn't healthy because it wasn't bloody and red and healthy. So lily livered meant that you were just like sick in the head. You were cowardly. You didn't pass muster. You didn't, pass muster. There's another one. I didn't look that one up though. Okay. So that was lily livered. Now, here's one that bugs me when people say it wrong. Now, there's a lot of sayings like this that started as one thing but have morphed into another thing. I have heard people, and I wanna hear what you guys think about this, how you guys say it, and I'll tell you which one is correct in a second. So, do you say that you are going to nip it in the bud, B-U-D bud, or you're going to nip it in the butt, B-U-T-T butt, nip it in the butt? All right, so tell me which one you say, and then I'll tell you which one is correct. And I'm happy to say that I've always used it in the correct fashion. Luckily, I've always used it correctly. And I don't know why, but I am also one of these people that it doesn't bother me if just in common conversation people use incorrect grammar, or like in a text if somebody doesn't use the correct punctuation or whatever. That doesn't bother me so much. But if I'm reading printed material, something that has been edited, something that has been paid to have been edited, like a book or a newspaper or a magazine, not that there's any physical newspapers anymore, but a magazine or something like that, and they have incorrect grammar, it bugs the hell out of me. I don't know why, but it just frosts my apples. That's a good one. What does that mean? Where does that come from? I know where that comes from. Frosts your apples means like it's before the end of the growing season and there was a frost, and so your apples got frosted and ruined before the season, before they were ready to pick. And that would make you mad, so that means it would frost my apples. Okay, so Diamond Heart says nip it in the bud. Chocolate Diamond says bud. Gail says bud like on a plant. Okay, so yes, it is bud on a plant. Nip it in the bud. But have all of you heard of people who say nip it in the butt? Nip it in the butt is not the correct. So nip it in the bud, and the reason that meaning behind it, but is if you nip something in the bud, you are stopping the development stopping it early in the developmental process. So let's say there's a lot of gossip going on or whatever. I'm going to nip that in the bud right now. You want to stop that before it gets into a prolific production period or develop, stop it before it gets fully developed. So that's nip it in the bud. Okay, last but not least, toe the line. And this is just for tonight. I mean, I've got probably years worth of these that we can do. And we can do these for ages. And we will, because I like it. I find it very interesting. I think that the most interesting one that we did tonight was definitely hair of the dog. That was just gross. That one just grossed me right out. Toe the line. Now, this is another one that commonly gets mistaken for it commonly gets mistaken for a different word that sounds the same but is spelled differently. So the term toe the line, the meaning is to conform to established politics, to conform to the established norm, okay, is what happens if you toe the line. But it is not toe the line, TOW, as in tow it like you're towing a ship or a trailer or not that kind of tow. It's towing the line, TOE, like you're putting your little piggies on the line, tow the line. And the reason for that is in the British, this one's kind of interesting actually. In the British House of Commons, to avoid fights between the opposing parties, there are two red lines on the floor opposite one another. They're a sword's length away from one another. And each representative that's speaking their toes cannot go further than that line. So because they don't want them to get in fights. So they are towing the line for their party, which I thought was pretty interesting. So if you go to the British House of Parliament today, or you look it up and you see a picture of it, you will see two red lines on the floor of the House of Commons, which that is the line from which you cannot go forth to make your argument, which I thought was pretty darn interesting. And with that, I shall conclude tonight's episode of where do phrases come from? Fun with Angie. No, I'm just kidding. We should name this segment. You always thought it was toe Diamond Heart? You know what? So did I. Honestly, I always thought it was toe, T-O-W, toe the line. Nope, it's toe the line, T-O-T-O-E, toe the line. There's other thinking. Okay, so House of Commons does in fact have that, but there is some thinking that it's also can be referring to like a starting line. Like you have your toe on the line of the starting line. You're towing the line. Yeah. To me, it makes more sense if it was TOW, toe the line, especially because of the meaning of the phrase being to, conform to your established policies or political doctrines. So towing the line, meaning pulling the weight of those doctrines, kind of makes more sense to me than having your toe on a starting line. I don't know, but that's just what I researched. That was the product of my research. So interesting as that might be, I think it's wrong. No, I'm just kidding. It's obviously, historically correct, but I don't know. I don't like that one. Hey, you're welcome. Always happy to be a source of useless knowledge. So what's going on, everybody? What's going on in your world today? So I think it was before everybody got in that I was talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow is the second biggest drinking day in America. First one being, Thanksgiving, of course. Tomorrow is the Super Bowl. And I will not be celebrating the Super Bowl, but I will be celebrating with my superb owl party. Maddie and I will be participating in a superb owl party. We will eat and celebrate owls, watch many owl documentaries, because they are in fact superb. Did I ever tell you guys about the time that I had an owl in my chicken coop? I have a picture of it somewhere. Went to let the chickens out one morning and opened the chicken coop door, and there, sitting on the perch, was this giant horned owl, and his claws were as big as my hands, and I'm not exaggerating. He's sitting there and he's just looking at me, like staring me down, like totally mean mugging me, like he was gonna come at me. I went, ah! and I slammed the door shut and I ran back to the house and I got Jeff. I'm like, there's an owl in the chicken coop. He's like, so? I'm like, no, there's like headless chickens in the chicken coop. So apparently I didn't know this, but owls, when they kill things, or chickens, they behead them. So there's like all of these chickens with their kappas detated in my chicken coop, and he was just sitting in there. I mean, the rest of the chickens were sitting on the roost right next to him. He must have gotten full. So he was probably just sitting there waiting for his food to digest, and he was going to go, for round two. He was having a regular old hen buffet on my girls. It was crazy. It was a crazy time. Yeah, Gail, you're right. Yeah, you're right, Gail. I think I've thought that too. Shadow and Ridge on YouTube. Hi, Yvonne. I didn't even see you here. Shadow and Ridge. No, I don't, but I will. I'll check it out for sure. So let me tell you about this owl. So so I go to work. So Jeff and I, we don't know what to do about this stinking owl in our chicken coop. So we let the chickens, we get the chickens out of the coop. We shoo them out of the coop. And then we shut all the doors, all the little access doors, and we lock the owl in the coop. So now we've got this owl trapped in the coop. All right. So I go to work and I'm telling my boss, I'm like, I don't know what to do. We got this owl. I got to call an exterminator, get this owl. And he says, well, owls are great horned owls. Those are protected, right? Those are like, you can't just catch them and kill them. You better check that out with the DNR. So I'm like, so I get on the DNR website and I'm looking, and there are special considerations if they are killing livestock, which my chickens were my livestock. So I thought, okay, I'm going to give a call to the DNR field office. So I call the DNR and I tell them what's going on, and I tell them, I woke up, they killed a lot of my chickens, and I've got it locked in my chicken coop right now. What should I do? He says, well, open the door. I said, well, if I open the door, it's going to get out. He's like, yeah, open the door and let it out. I'm like, no, I'm not going to let it out. If I let it out, it's going to come back and kill the rest of my chickens. He's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we're not going to do anything for you. We're just going to open the door and let it go. And so I'm like, okay, well, is there any way that I can, within the law, get rid of it, have it relocated somewhere else or something so it doesn't come back and kill my chickens? He's like, well, there are exterminators out there who will relocate endangered species, but they have to have a special certification to be able to transport them, whatever. So when you call around, just make sure to ask that they have the certification. Okay, so I'll do that. So I get on the horn. I'm sitting at my desk, making valuable use of city dollars. I get on the phone at my desk and I start making these calls to all these exterminators. I tell them owl. They're like, no, we don't do that. 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 So I'm getting to the bottom of the barrel here. I've gone through just about every exterminator I can find. And then I see a listing for one in Marion Springs, which y'all aren't from my area, so it won't hurt anybody's feelings for me to say this. But Marion Springs is the kind of place where if you live there, pretty much your family tree makes a wreath. All right. There's a lot of people who are related to each other and married to each other. All right. If that lets you know anything. So I call this guy. Yeah. He answers the phone. Yeah. I'm like, hi. I tell him my situation. And I say, he's like, oh yeah, I can take care of that. I said, okay, well, I talked to the DNR. They said that you had to have a special certificate to be able to transfer them. Do you have that? And he's like, oh yeah, I got all kinds of certificates. And I'm like, all right, bud, this sounds a little shady, but okay. So he comes out and he's got this little itty bitty teeny weeny cage, right? This little teeny trap, like live trap. And he brings it out to, now this owl, it stood about 3 feet tall. I mean, it was a big flipping owl. So he comes out with this teeny little live trap, and I said, I don't think it's going to fit in there. He said, he'll fit. So, okay. So I follow him out to the chicken coop, and he's got on like a short sleeve t-shirt and jeans and boots. And I said, do you have any gloves or anything? Oh, no, I'll be all right. I'm like, do you want something for, your head, your face? I mean, this guy had claws the size of my hands. He's like, no, I'll be all right. He opens the door, he looks at it, and he goes, oh, he's a big guy. I said, yeah, he's big. So he says, all right, I'm going to go in. When I go in, you shut the door behind me and hold it closed. Don't let me out until I tell you. I go, okay. All right. So he goes in, I shut the door behind him, I'm holding the door closed, and it was like on a cartoon where it was screaming and, dust is rumbling out, and it was just like on a cartoon. It was hilarious. Finally, I'm like, are you okay? He's like, yeah. I keep saying he's okay, but I keep hearing him screaming and yelling and hooting and hollering, and after a while, finally he says, all right, I got it. So I let him out, and he's got this thing in the cage, and it did fit in this teeny little live trap. He's got this thing in the live trap, and he was just covered head to toe in scratches and gashes. I felt so bad for this poor little old guy. It was so funny. So anyways, that's how we got rid of our great horned owl. Yes, the story of the great horned owl. Gail, you've probably heard the story of the great horned owl before, but it's been a while since I've told the story of the great horned owl, and it is a good one. It's one of my favorites. Oh yeah, I got all kinds of licenses, he says. And he said it just like a youper, just like that too. Oh yeah, I got all kinds of licenses. Got all kinds of certificates. Or Fargo. Maybe he was from Fargo. But he was actually from Marion Springs. Anyways. Ay. Oh, damn. Excuse me. Maybe I shouldn't smoke. The pictures going through your head are probably 110% accurate. He was, he was some, oh yeah, I got all kinds of certificates. Like, oh, I bet you do. Do you have one that says you learned how to tie your shoes? That's what I wanted to ask him. Oh, Lord only knows what happened to that poor owl. He's probably mounted on that guy's wall by now. No, shh, Angie, stop. Don't say stuff like that. I'm sure that he did everything that he was supposed to do by law. I'm sure he followed the letter of the law in rehoming that lovely creature. It really was magnificent. It was a gorgeous bird. That was the first and last time that an owl got into our coop, but not the last time that we had a problem with owls. But that was the last time one decided to set up shop for a buffet style dinner right in the coop. Yeah, he just thought he was home, man. He just thought he had like open course buffet set up in there. Not gonna happen around here. So I have been so busy this week, but I've been busy doing, like a whole bunch of nothing. I've been busy doing just crafting. I've been crafting my head off all week. I've done a lot of cross stitching. I've done a lot of diamond painting, and I've done a lot of crocheting. Um, I did not have knitting class this week because it's every other week, so I'll have knitting class next week. I did practice my knitting a little bit, not a ton. Then there was this vlogger, I don't know what he is. He's a guy with a website. It's called The Yarnist, and he's a knitter. And he did a weekend online like class about knitting sweaters. So it was all kinds of information, and it was really interesting because the information was how to knit. It was about learning how to knit a sweater, not using a pattern, but rather using body measurements instead. Like that you could basically knit anything as long as you know your body measurements and then how to turn that into a sweater. So that's been pretty interesting. Those they're live videos that are, I guess, live Zoom meetings or whatever that have been going on all weekend since Thursday. So that's a lot of hours that I've been spending doing that. What's that somehow? Oh, I missed that one. Well, we're going to turn it into that other one. Okay, show of hands. Diamond Heart, I did not. How did it get in my chicken coop? Oh, so, okay, my chicken coop, it was my fault that it got in the chicken coop, actually, and that's probably why I brushed over that part of the story. So my chicken coop has 2 human-sized doors. Because my chicken coop, we built in, this is how redneck we are. We built an addition onto our chicken coop. So the original chicken coop was, a rectangular building with like a salt box roof, just a slanted roof. Then we had babies. One of our hens had baby chicks, and we wanted to keep Mama Hen and her babies away from the rest of the group for a while until the babies were old enough. So we built an addition onto our chicken coop. So onto the back side, one side, we built a box about half the length, but the same width as the other side. So it made it, a regular roof there, but then still the softbox roof on the one side. So anyways, there's a human side door that goes into the baby section and a human sized door that goes into the main section. Those doors both get kept closed all the time, except when we go in to gather eggs or food and water. But then on the outside of the baby section and the outside of the main section are 2 sliding doors that are just big enough for the chickens to get in and out, so that they can come in and out of the coop at their leisure. And they had an enclosed run, an enclosed area of the yard where they could just be in and out all the time. Now, it was my job to go out and close those sliding doors every night so that they were locked in for the night. Well, this particular night I had forgot, well, many particular nights I forgot or was lazy and didn't go shut those sliding doors. All the times I'd ever done it, nothing had ever happened, but this time something did happen, and somehow that great big fat ass owl wedged his way into that teeny little chicken-sized door. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. So it was my fault he was in there. Ooh, homemade pizza. That sounds good. Oh, Mindy had pizza for dinner. Yum 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 yum. All right, so let's talk about dinners. So you guys know that on Saturday, Jeff usually does the cooking. because it's the weekend and he doesn't have to work, and he usually wants to cook on the grill. And then since he got his Blackstone for Christmas, he has been really excited to cook on the Blackstone. So he's been cooking on his Blackstone or on the grill, and he usually does cook on Fridays and Saturdays. Well, a few weeks ago, Nate and I went down to Livonia for him to go see a friend's band play. I think I remember I told you guys about that. Anyway, while we were down there, we stopped at a Noodles and Company. I think I told you that too. Anyway, Nate had beef stroganoff is what they had on special that day. And that's what Nate had. And he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And I said, well, bud, I can make beef stroganoff. That's no problem. Well, it has been years and years and years since I made beef stroganoff. So I needed to consult a recipe, which I am not one who cooks from recipes. I cook either from just knowledge or I just wing it. You know what I mean? I either cook from it's something that I've cooked all my life, or I just kind of wing it. So, but with this, I wanted to do it from the recipe so I could make sure that it was perfect and good and delicious for Nate. So I found this recipe that I thought was going to be great, and I had Jeff get all of the ingredients for it, and I decided I was going to make that tonight for dinner. So I did. And let me tell you, I think that it's safe to say that at least until they forget about it, we will go back to to Jeff cooking on Saturdays for the foreseeable future. It sucked. It sucked so bad. It was gross. It was so gross. It wasn't. The sauce was good, and the mushrooms and onions were good. The flavor was there. It could have used a little bit more salt, but otherwise the flavor was there. But the meat was super, super tough and chewy. The meat was horrible, which is probably and I questioned it when I started making it too, because it said to to brown the meat on one side and do it on like medium high, and so it gets a nice brown to it, and then flip it and cook it till the other side gets a nice brown sear to it, and then to take it off the stove and set it to the side while you do your mushrooms and onions and your sauce. And I thought, well, that's strange, because that's not really all that much time for the meat to have cooked. I mean, it was done. It was definitely like, it was cooked, but I was worried that it was going to be chewy, and it was. It was extremely chewy. And I think, though, part of it was the cut of meat that I had Jeff get. I was trying to be economical, so I had him get a round steak, which probably wasn't the best choice for a cut of meat. I should have had him get like a boneless sirloin or a flank steak or something like that. I would have said a ribeye, but ribeyes anymore are ridiculously expensive. Almost as bad as eggs. Are eggs still high where you guys live? Yeah, Gail, that's what it was. It was the meat. It was definitely the meat that screwed me up. I think that if I would have, probably because of that cut of, because of the cut of meat, because I do use a round steak when I make beef tips and noodles, and it's always nice and tender. But then again, when I make beef tips and noodles, I let that meat cook for a long time, like a good hour, I want to say, so it tenderizes it. But I thought, well, I'm going to follow this recipe to the letter. And maybe, had I had it to do over again, maybe if I would have done that and then just let the meat cook a lot longer, maybe it would have been a bit more tender. Or if I would have tenderized the meat in advance, pounded it out with a mallet, one of those meat tenderizer mallets. But I'll know for next time. Hey, Mary Lou, how's it going? Oh, that's a good idea, Gail. It would probably taste just as good, huh? Because like I said, my sauce was delicious. I made it with, I made it right by the recipe with the wine and Worcestershire and beef stock. Like I made and sour cream. I made it good. It the yeah the um, sauce tasted really good. Just the meat was not so good. So, but hamburger that's a good idea. Or like you say, yeah, beat your meat. Yes, Mindy. Next time I'm gonna beat my meat. That's definitely what I'm gonna do next time is beat my meat. So, what is everybody watching right now? I kind of need something new to watch because let me tell you what I've been watching on Peacock. I have been watching Saturday Night Live. So Saturday Night Live started in 1975, which is the year I was born. So I thought, well, this will be fun. I can watch 50 years of Saturday Night Live. That'll be so fun. So I started watching it and I've been watching it all week. And tonight, just before I made dinner, I was just starting season 6. So this week I've watched 5 seasons. So now it's 1980. Reagan just won the election. He hasn't been inaugurated yet, but Reagan just beat Jimmy Carter. And I did not remember this because remember, in 1980, I was only 5 years old. I didn't remember this, but season 6, the entire cast changes. Like everybody's gone. No more Gilda Radner, no more Bill Murray. All those people are gone, and no more Dan Aykroyd. Everybody's gone. I mean, John Belushi left, a bit before that, or a couple seasons before that, and then of course Chevy Chase only lasted a season and a half. But now all of a sudden, season 6, episode 1, there's all these people that I have no idea who they are. Now, I do remember, though, Joe Piscopo is one of the people, and he sticks around because I do remember him. But the other people, I totally don't even remember, even from my childhood. Boswell trial. What is the Boswell trial? Diamond Heart? What's that? And what's it on? Ooh, I wish I had some venison, Gail. I did not. Neither Jeff nor I hunted this year, so we do not have any venison. Maybe I could get some from my stepdad. Maybe I'll text if my mom was on here tonight, which she has been the last couple weeks. She must be busy tonight. I would have her bring me some venison tomorrow to my sister's. Mindy, you missed it. I was talking about my Superb Owl party tomorrow. Maddie and I don't watch sports, so we're going to have a Superb Owl party. Is she so funny? Maddie's hilarious. So she said we're going to go to Aunt Holly's Super Bowl party and eat, and then we are going to have a Super Bowl party. And come home and have a Superb Owl party. I think we'll do the Superb Owl party while we're after we get home. No, we won't do our Superb Owl party at Aunt Holly's. That would be rude. It's fun because my sister and my nephew make a football board for the Super Bowl, and it's all just our family. So how many squares make up a Super Bowl board? Like 100? I mean, I don't know how many. Is it 100? Yeah, because 0 to 9 and 0 to 9 time. Yeah, 100. So there's 100 squares on a football board. So just my family, we make up 100 squares. And we let the kids buy squares, and they're like 50 cents a square. My mom always gives the kids money to buy their squares, and I give my grandkids money to buy squares, and so it's fun. It's fun. I think everybody. I think we pay per quarter, and I think you win like $12.50 per quarter. It's pretty fun. What am I missing? Something? Megan Boswell, Murder of a Little Girl on YouTube. Oh, on YouTube. Oh, I may have to check. I always forget to check things out on YouTube. But I need to get better at that because actually I started watching Dr. Phil on YouTube, but I can only take the arguing for a little while. You know what I mean? Like Dr. Phil's interesting, but I can only handle listening to people argue for a while, and then it's like, I'm over this. I need something more upbeat, which is why I started watching Saturday Night Live. I believe there's and this is going to be like the most fabulous day of my life. I believe there's a new episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia coming out soon. So, that's my favorite show in the history of the world. Favorite show, not favorite movie. And so, yeah, I should rewatch It's Always Sunny to get ready for the new season. That would be a good idea. Seriously, that's all. I poured all of these in this tray for that many. Don't you hate it when you do that? It is what I'm saying, Gail. We're gonna have a Super Bowl, and then we're gonna have a Super Bowel, and then we're gonna have a Superb Owl. You don't know what that party is? A Superb Owl Party? It's for people who don't watch sports. They sit around and watch documentaries about magnificent owls. Superb owls. They're just superb. I cracked myself up. Ooh, potato soup. Potato soup is my favorite. Favorite. My grandma used to make me when I was a kid. Actually, I think we talked about this before, potato soup. Now, I do love a nice creamy potato soup. Love a creamy potato soup. But when I was a kid, my favorite potato soup was a soup that my grandma used to make me that she said that her mom, that they always had during the Depression. It was Depression potato soup. And the only thing it was made with was onions, water, potatoes, and drop noodles. She would just mix egg, flour, and salt and pepper, and then drop them into the boiling broth, and that was potato soup. It was so good though. I loved that potato soup. I should make some of that. I haven't had that in years. I should ask my mom to make me some because my mom can make it more like her mom than I can. Yeah, it was very, very good stuff. Isn't it weird the things, I mean, that evoke memories? Like for me, so many times a smell can evoke a memory, or like a taste can evoke a memory. Like I'm just imagining the taste of that soup right now, and it's just such a good memory of my childhood. Um, what I was gonna say something. Oh, guess what happened to me today? So I don't know what the deal is, but my husband is too good to me. So Nate and Jeff both have Apple AirPods. All right, for listening to music, and Nate needs them for school and stuff. They both have Apple AirPods. Now I have freakishly small ears. Here, I'll show you. Like I'm gonna give you a point of reference to my hand. See how freakishly small my ears are? Freakishly small. So AirPods or anything that you have to stick in your ear, I can never use, like the headphones or whatever, because my ears are just too teeny. So I had been but I still use them. I just can't hear very well out of them, and they don't stay in very good and whatever. So I had borrowed Jeff's AirPods last retreat, and I came home and got unpacked, and life went on, and blah 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 blah. And about a month later, Jeff said, "Hey, can you grab my AirPods for me? Can I have my AirPods back now?" And I said, "Well, yeah, sure. They're in my purse." So I go in my purse, and I knew exactly where I had put them. And the case was there. And the case is only about that big. The little case was there. I give it to him, and he comes back and he's like, "Haha." I'm like, "Haha, what?" He's like, "Give me my AirPods." I'm like, "I just gave them to you." He's like, "Yeah, this is empty. There's nothing in there." Somehow, some way, I have no idea, but the thing must have flipped open and the AirPods fell out. Well, the AirPods, so I'm like, "Oh, they must have fallen out. Let me get back in my purse, and they've got to be in there, right?" I mean, the case was in my purse. They were in the case. So they must have fallen out of the case, and they've got to be in the same little pouch. It was in a little pouch pocket of my purse. Turn the thing upside down, inside out, cannot find them anywhere. So I've lost Jeff's AirPods, which sucks. So I am going to Texas in a couple of weeks for the No Frills retreat. And I have nothing to listen to music or YouTube out of. And Jeff knew that, I did, because I lost his AirPods. I had nothing to listen to music with or listen to YouTube videos with. So I had been talking to him, and I'm like, I'm really, really sorry. I'll replace them, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, "Yeah, but I'm just worried that now you don't have anything to take with you." And I'm like, I was thinking about getting like over the head earphones, like Beats, because my ears are too small anyway for the AirPods. So today he comes in the front room and he shows me the Best Buy ad. He's like, "Here, these Beats Solo 4th edition are on sale for $99 at Best Buy. I'm going to go out and get them for you." I'm like, "Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you so much." So he comes back and goes, "Here you go. Happy birthday." Now, mind you, he's already gotten me my birthday present. He paid for my knitting classes. He hands me the Beats box, and he actually got me the Beats Pros. He didn't get me the Beats Solos. He got me the Pros, which were like twice as much. I don't know how I got so lucky. And then I fed him a disgusting dinner. I feel bad. I feel so bad. But I don't know. I'm so lucky that I have such a sweet husband. I think it's because he worked a lot of overtime last week when he was on call. He feels like we can maybe have a little treat. Either that or he wants to buy something for himself. So that's how he justifies it, is by getting me something. Maybe. I don't know. I think I justify it just fine by getting myself things. But, if he wants to treat me too, I'm not going to say no. Who am I to say no to that? Who am I to say no to that, right? Right. Yeah, so yeah. Oh, let's talk about No, we didn't. Mindy, we should do that. You know what we should do, Mindy? We should get together and maybe do a live during the week, during the day one day, and work on that big painting together on the Sunday morning in spring. We should do that. It's about what? Is it halfway done? Is it 2/3 of the way done? I'm not sure. I know it's at least 1/3 of the way done. It might be 2/3 of the way done. Okay, so I, of course, have to pee again, so I'm going to get going. But wait, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet, because I want to show you something. I want to show you. Oh, first of all, I want to show you this hat that I made or am making. So for this hat, I used just regular Big Twist value yarn in the color soft gray. And I paired it with this Lion Brand shawl in a ball in the color Prism, which is beautiful. It's got like every color in it. It's very, very pretty. Now, they say that this Prism yarn is a 4-weight yarn, but there's no, I think they're just saying that because of the halo on it, because it's kind of a fuzzy yarn, but it's so pretty. Anyways, this is it's kind of a weird construction for a hat, but just hear me out. Hear me out. So here it is. It's using like a wheat stitch. Isn't that cool? And then this is the brim. This is the brim. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've made this way, I'm just going to sew it together. All right. And then this becomes the brim. And the brim is quite long, so you'll be able to fold it up. And then I'm going to do some reducing rows in single crochet up here in the top and bring it together. And this is from a video from a YouTuber called Jeepers Creepers. I can't remember, but this is from a YouTuber. But I just loved this wheat stitch, and I think it looks so cool paired with this other yarn. Doesn't that look beautiful? It looks so pretty, so darn pretty. And it's soft. It's so soft. I can't wait to wear it. But anyways, what I really wanted to show you was, I want to show you the design that now when I say I created, it's not as if I made up these stitches. Okay, these stitches were in existence. I just kind of made up this combination of stitches and put it together with the changes in color and making a blanket. So I am calling this my 1970s retro ripple Afghan. And this is what it's going to look like. Isn't that cool? Don't you just love it? Here, it's got some regular double crochets in it, but then it's got some like, what do I want to say? It's got some back loop stitches and, but the colors, I love the colors. So here's the repeat that's going to happen. It's going to go another 3 rows of this color. Here, did I start that? Down here, I did. All right, so I'm starting on that repeat there. But what I really liked about this that I like better than some of the other ripple patterns that I've worked with is that the way that I am doing the reduce parts of the zigzag is making it not bulky. It's really nice and drapey. It's got a good feel to it. It's not stiff, I guess is what I want to say. It's not stiff. Even though I'm using worsted weight yarn, it's not stiff at all. So I'm going to do it's actually cooler looking in person than it looks right now. But I'm going to do a tutorial for it because I just love it. And I love the colors that I chose to do it in. They're very 70s, very, very much thinking that I had Tupperware in all of these colors. I had a set of Tupperware in these colors that my grandma or my mom gave me somewhere. So yeah, see, this is my color palette too, Diamond Heart. Definitely. Your husband got you bathroom mats for your birthday, Chocolate? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, I do loan mine out on occasion if you want. He can come over. I'll loan him out for a while. Sometimes he can be a booger too, so They've all got their things. But I'm using just regular 4-weight yarn, but it's like a mixture of brands. I've got this one is a Caron pound or 1 pounder. And then I think these other three colors are all Joann's Big Twist, which is really nice 100% acrylic yarn. It's nice and soft. I really like the Big Twist yarn. I'm going to be really sad if Joann's if they don't produce that yarn anymore, because I used the Big Twist yarn quite a bit when I first started crocheting. I built my stash out of this Big Twist, so I have tons and tons of it. So I'm going to have to be really careful going forward with my projects to make sure that I have enough in my stash, because I might not be able to, get more of it if I run out mid-project. But all right, so I am going to let you guys go now because, I have to pee, because I always have to pee, because I'm just getting over another urinary tract infection. I actually got quite a bit of diamond painting done tonight. Look at that. Look at how much I got done. Tons and tons. I don't think I've ever gotten so much diamond painting done on a live before. That's pretty impressive. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me on Saturday. Have fun at your superb owl parties tomorrow. And I will see y'all next time. All right. Bye, everybody. See ya. How do I end? End.